Hey guys, it's Miss Richito, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Spanish OPI. Now, some of you may not know about this, but it's an oral exam that is conducted over telephone in order to test your level of Spanish. I know that it's required for teachers throughout the country who are trying to be Spanish teachers at the high school level, or for me, I'm a bilingual teacher, so it was required for me to get my bilingual certification. And I remember when I was trying to study for this exam, there were very few resources. There weren't many people who had taken it, or the people who had taken it didn't really talk about how to get an advanced score. And so I took this exam twice. The first time I took it, I scored an intermediate high, and the second time I took it, I scored the advanced low. And so the levels of the test are as follows. You have novice low, novice middle or medium, and novice high. Then you have intermediate low, intermediate middle, and intermediate high. And then you have advanced low, advanced middle, advanced high. And then they have superior for like native speakers, pretty much. And so in order to teach Spanish or to be a bilingual teacher in many, many states in the US, you have to get at least an advanced low in the written and the oral part of this exam. So I was able to get, advanced scoring in the English, of course, my native language, English writing and oral, and then the Spanish written. But the Spanish oral was the challenge for me. And so really quickly, I'm going to try not to make this video too long. I just want to share tips, things that helped me. So number one, when you take the exam, remember that they are testing you on your ability to speak the language. So talk a lot. In fact, I almost recommend that you just talk, and wait for them to interrupt you when you're moving to another topic. The first time I took the exam, they would ask me a question like, what kind of job do you do? And I would just answer like, oh, I'm a teacher, or soy profesora. And like that was it. I would just stop. And that exam, I scored intermediate high. And I was like, how is this possible? If I know how to get advanced low in the written, I should have been able to do this in the oral. And that was one of my biggest issues. You have to keep talking. Instead of just saying, oh, I'm a teacher, I should have said, yeah, I'm a teacher. I teach at such and such high school. I've been teaching for this many years. These are the sort of things I do in my classroom. Like, just talk on and on and on. And like throw information at the person who's testing you, because that's the best way for them to see how you handle the language. So that would be my first tip for getting advanced low on the Spanish OPI. Just let them interrupt you. Talk on and on and on. The second tip is to master preterite and imperfect tense as much as you can. Many native speakers of English have difficulties talking in the past tense in Spanish when it comes to using preterite, pretérito, or using imperfecto, imperfect tense. And the best way to practice this is to tell stories. Like, I used to sit in my head and just tell stories. Like, when I was little, my mother bought me this. So, like, cuando yo era pequeña, mi mamá me compró una cosita o un teléfono or something. Like, you can tell these stories to yourself, and you're practicing using imperfect to describe an ongoing event in the past, or preterite to move the story forward, like she bought me compró, because there's like an action moving the story forward. And you just practice that. That really differentiates the intermediate high from the advanced low. How is your fluidity with the language, being able to circumlocate, oh, I forgot how you say that word. But pretty much, like, if you don't know exactly a word to say, actually I'm doing it right now with English, if you don't know the exact word for something, kind of, you can describe what you're trying to say, or talk around the word and get the listener to understand what you want to say. So I recommend just practice storytelling using imperfect and preterite tense. And the other little things, the OPI is a good test because it throws you in scenarios like, you just got into a car crash with your friend's best car. Your friend just called you. what do you say? Bam. And you have to be, you take on these scenarios like, oh, I'm sorry, I just crashed your car. You explain what happened using Spanish. So I only have 2 tips really. Those were the 2 things that I was very intentional about changing when I took the OPI for the second time and I got the score that I needed. I will say that there was almost a year difference, probably like 9, 10 months difference from when I got the intermediate high and when I retook the exam. So it is important. Practice. Like I was listening and talking Spanish every day from the time I took the exam the first time until I took it the second time. So I know that can be very difficult for some people, but like I've said in my previous videos, there's a lot of resources where you can practice, whether it's online language exchanges or whether it's listening to podcasts, but you want to make sure that you are throwing Spanish at yourself. So I hope this was helpful. I rambled on a little bit, but I enjoy making some videos, and I hope that you guys learned something from this. All right, good luck and peace out.